My people, my people. Good morning, everybody. Friday, March 21st, 7:58 a.m. I feel like I owed everybody 2 minutes from yesterday. Granted, I went an hour and a half yesterday. You're talking about 6 games in 8 nights for the Lakers. That's 6 post-game shows in 8 nights. I don't get any credit for that. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Got a good show lined up today. Friday, always going to be fun. Got a lot of stuff that we're going to be doing. Got a lot of good topics. I promise today is an Ask Lee. I promise. I know I've been kind of kicking it here the last couple of days. Wednesday, I was with Brad Wallace and Encino at their office, so I really couldn't do it there. Yesterday, went kind of long with Amin, and then by the time I was all done with that, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going over an hour and a half. Today we'll do some Ask Lee. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Please do me a quick favor. Please subscribe to the channel. If you guys don't mind doing that, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. I got a quote for everybody. You guys demolished me yesterday with a quote. I had a quote that I thought was good, and then I read your guys' quotes, and I almost lost my job yesterday. I'm like, these quotes are so much better. Do me a favor. If you guys don't mind continuing to do that, would be phenomenal. Really, really good quotes yesterday. Let's try to create the right environment here on the show. So I'm a big fan of that. Here's a quote today. The function of leadership is to produce more leaders, not more followers. I like that. Think about that here for a second. The function of leadership is to produce more leaders, not more followers. All right, so think about somebody who's a leader. Oh, I got all these people following me. No. I produce leaders. I like that. That's a badass quote right there. If you guys got some quotes, feel free to throw it in the chat, and I will get to it as the show progresses here. So we'll go from there. All right. Okay. Let me give everyone a quick rundown of what we got to do. I love people already. They're very passionate about Bronny James right now. Let me get to my point. Get to where I get to. Don't worry. We'll get to where we need to get to. Here's what we got going on for the show today. All right, for the show. The Lakers might be fully healthy by tomorrow. That could very, very well be the case for the Lakers, that they could potentially have everyone back tomorrow. Let's play it safe. Let's say by Monday, which will have 3 weeks left into the season, the Lakers could potentially have everyone back. Pretty good position to be in, I got to be honest with you. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what that could look like, what the final 12 games would look like. Let's call it 13 because there is the game against the Bulls coming up tomorrow. But I'm just kind of, trying to look at it from a calendar perspective. I feel pretty good that they'll all be back by Monday. We'll see what happens. Got a little bit of video that I'll show you guys. Yesterday, they were showing it during Spectrum of LeBron warming up. I want to talk load management too. Now, I'm going to play everybody a clip from Magic on Byron Scott's podcast. And I just want to get everybody's thoughts on it. If I told everybody what's the biggest frustration that you have with the NBA, Magic stated what his is, so we'll spend a little time on that. And if you actually kind of look at the last few games, been a lot of stars that have been missing games, so we can get into that. Certainly Lakers didn't play anybody yesterday. I could have got 18 minutes yesterday. Could have got 18 minutes. I didn't show up to crypto yesterday. I did the post-game show from home. And I'm saying to myself, I'm like, that was probably my chance. That was probably my opportunity. I could have sat in the corner like Torian Prince and hit 1 of 9 from the three-point line. What's the problem? There were a lot of Lakers that were 1 for 9 from the three-point line yesterday. Bronny, a distraction. I want to talk to everybody about my perception of Bronny when he got drafted and leading up to the draft to where he sits today with the Lakers. What I thought it would be and what it actually has been. So that's kind of the concept and the idea of, is Bronny a distraction? We'll spend a little bit of time on that. There was a podcast that was going on with Markieff Morris is on the Lakers. Marcus Morris Sr., I think Marcus Morris, I think that's the proper way to put it, was on a podcast, I want to say Yahoo Sports, and he was talking about the Luka and AD trade. And they was talking about when it was all going down, how he was talking to Markeith. He might have said something there that makes you think LeBron knew about the trade. So, by the way, it doesn't matter whether he did know or he didn't know, but he did say he didn't know. So I want to play that for you guys, and you guys tell me if I'm reading this the right way or if I'm just hallucinating here. We got the weekend preview. We'll look at some NBA games that are going to be going on. There was something on Austin Reeves that I want to get into as well. Lou Williams was talking about third best options in the NBA. Where does kind of Austin Reeves fall into that category? Let's see what else we got here. I got some small stories too. Steph Curry getting injured. Paul Skenes' card goes for $1.1 million. The Celtics sell for $6.1 billion. Weekend preview I mentioned. A couple NBA games that I think actually are big games. NCAAs are people watch. I've actually found myself I was watching some games yesterday, but that was granted there's a San Diego team that was in it, UCSD. So I was watching that game versus Michigan. We'll do Ask Slee, and then we'll call it a day. I want everybody to know if you're a member and you're on the show today, when the show ends, I'll figure out what time the show ends. And then probably 15 minutes after the show, I'm going to go live again for members only. I'm going to do something I'm going to try this out. I don't know how it's going to work. I'm going to call it Members Weekly. On Fridays, when the week is done, I'm going to get some feedback from obviously some of the listeners, what they thought of the show, things they liked, things they want to see for the upcoming week. Maybe guests that we have in mind that I could start working on, guests that make sense for the upcoming week. So I want members to have more of a say what's going on a day-to-day basis. And I think this is a good way to do it. So I'll do a members only show, MVP members after we're done with this show. All right, let's get this bad boy started. A lot of prep there. A lot going on there. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see if I just kind of go back here to the beginning. Man, yesterday was a trip. Yesterday I did the show, and I really, really mean it when I say this. When I was done talking to Amin El Hassan was on the show. And by the way, it is pretty funny that anybody that doesn't like an opinion that's not Lakers are going to win 9 championships in a row, the chat just loses it. Guys, they're not going to win 9 championships in a row. It's okay to be critical on the Lakers. And Amin definitely has more critical stances on it. When I tell you there was over 600 comments waiting. Because the way this works, if I'm not on the comments page, it just starts showing you 34 comments, 10 comments, 50 comments, whatever it is. So him and I talked for over a half hour until I finally looked. It was actually pretty fun. All right, let me see a couple of the comments here. Did we get any quotes? No, nobody wants the quotes today. Nobody wants quotes. They're just like, I'll get with the show. All right, let's get started here. Lakers lost yesterday to Milwaukee. Not really anything to talk about. I'm going to spend very little time talking about it. I saw some people yesterday, even in this morning, say, Slee, what happened to Dalton Connect? And how come Goodwin wasn't better? How come this, that, whatever the case is? I'll tell you why. Because all the attention wasn't on the Lakers stars. They didn't have to worry about Luka or Austin Reeves or LeBron James. Obviously those are the three main characters for the Lakers. The main players for the Lakers, the stars for the Lakers, they didn't have to worry about them. So they could just focus on Dalton Connect and Jordan Goodwin and all those great looks that those guys have. If you don't have those players, obviously, those guys are gonna struggle, and that's really what happened yesterday. The only thing I'll take away, and this is gonna go back into the load management, I was a little surprised that they did sit everybody. I understand why they did it. I understand that it was 6 games in 8 nights. I get that. But I just thought because of how important the standings are right now, how important all these games are. Dame didn't play for Milwaukee. I thought yesterday it was a winnable game. I thought maybe they're going to play him. It didn't happen. Lakers got their asses kicked. They rested everybody, and they're trying to get ready for this final stretch run. So kind of is what it is, to be honest with you, on the Lakers and the Bucks. And I don't really have too much of a breakdown in that game. What do you want me to break down? Bronny, I'm going to get into on his own anyway, so we'll spend a little bit of time on that. But don't take anything away from yesterday's game. If Austin Reeves and Luka are playing, Dalton Connect's going to get great looks. If Dorian Finney-Smith and Jared Vanderbilt are playing, the defense would have been a lot better. Jordan Goodwin would have had a better game as well. Gabe Vincent would have performed better. I just wouldn't take away too much from yesterday's game. You were seeing a lot of Alex Lynn. You were seeing Trey Jamison III. You were just kind of seeing whoever the Lakers can throw out there. I mean, Bronny got, what did he get? I mean, I think he might have got 30 minutes last night. So that tells you a little bit something about yesterday's game. I just wouldn't pay too close attention to it. What I will say is this, because when this show's over tonight, we won't talk again until tomorrow after the Lakers take on the Chicago Bulls. Tomorrow becomes exactly like those other games were for the Lakers that they had earlier this week or even on Sunday. Remember I told you Sunday and Monday are non-negotiable games? You had to win both of those games. It was critical that you walked away by the time you got to Denver on Wednesday. You had to have those two games in your back pocket. I don't care that the Suns have Kevin Durant. They're a freaking dumpster fire and they're a mess. San Antonio's got, obviously no excuses there because Wemby and De'Aaron Fox weren't in the lineup. And the Lakers handled business. They had two comfortable wins against those teams. That's what tomorrow becomes against Chicago. That's what the game against Brooklyn was supposed to be for the Lakers, and they obviously blew that advantage there. And we'll see, how much that game kind of comes back to haunt the Lakers. But tomorrow against the Chicago Bulls, it's very similar to the same way it was against San Antonio and the way it was against the Phoenix Suns. You just got no excuse tomorrow. So we'll get ready, obviously, for that game, and that will happen when it happens. But not too much of a breakdown in that game. That's got to be a game that the Lakers just take full advantage of. And listen, I was telling you guys before the game against the Suns, not knowing when LeBron's going to come back, not knowing Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic weren't going to play, not knowing that the Lakers were going to sit everybody against the Bucks. I said that you had to go 2-2 this week. It was critical you go 2-2. Well, you go win tomorrow, you went 3-1 this week. So I think most Laker fans will be happy with that, and you kind of run with it. Let me show you guys some video here. Got some video here that I want to show everybody. Let's mute this. I don't think we need the audio. Yesterday before the game, before Lakers were getting ready to take on the Milwaukee Bucks, some video out there of LeBron. And LeBron basically doing a little pregame workout. JJ Redick had said something along the lines of he's hopeful that LeBron will return on Saturday. He's hopeful that Rui Hachimura will return on Saturday, at both of those players. But here's Bron. Bron looks like he's, I got to be honest with you, kind of reminds me a lot of me. Like, just look at his physique. I know a lot of people. I want to be humble. But a lot of people look at Bron and they look at his upper body and they're like, Slee? Bron, got you. Don't know what the hell I'm talking about. However, here's Bron, getting a little working. I think that says something right there. LeBron James looks like he's ready to go. For as many games as Bron has missed with the Lakers, and I think the total is 7, Lakers are still right there in the standings. They still got a legitimate shot at number 2. They've put themselves in I think a pretty good position here, and we'll see how the rest of the season plays out. But there's LeBron. He's not jogging. He doesn't look like somebody that is, hey, is this guy going to be out for another couple of weeks? And the Lakers, and LeBron knows as well, because of the position that they're in. It's not like they're fighting to avoid the play-in tournament. It's not like, hey, they got to rush Bron back because the playoffs start in a week and they got to win, the next 3 games in a row. No, they still got a little bit of a cushion, which means if Bron is getting ready to come back tomorrow, whether it's tomorrow or Monday. I mean, if you ask me, I don't care. A guy wants to sit out another game, sit out another game. But I think he's probably just going to kind of try to get his feet under him, knock off a little bit of rust, and get ready for that road trip. That's probably if he ends up coming back tomorrow. But not a bad position for the Lakers to be in. And Bron looks like he's ready to go. Now, I know just playing by yourself versus playing against, other players, but I think it's a really, really great sign for the Lakers. Okay, so let me kind of put this in perspective. 13 games left in the regular season for the Lakers. I want to just make sure I have this accurately here. I'm going to go to the standings. I got, again, this is kind of like exclusive info, so I don't really want to talk too much about it. NBA standings, ESPN.com. Okay, so here's where the Lakers are in the standings. Because they lost yesterday, Denver's got a half-game lead on them. Lakers win tomorrow, they'll be back tied again, and, things just keep moving. This is whatever the standings look like today, don't pay attention to it because these next couple of weeks are going to be, they'll be pretty crazy. I mean, 2 through 5 is still wide open. If Memphis keeps losing, a Golden State or a Clippers or a Minnesota, maybe they could kind of sneak up to that number 5 spot. But obviously, it's still fluid. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot of different teams that are all competing right now. With that in mind, I'll just say this in regards to the final 13 games left for the Lakers. You could potentially have LeBron and Rui back. You basically, as I knock on wood here, have everyone back for this final push. 3 weeks of the season and 12 games sounds like the perfect amount of games. 13 games left, 12 starting on Monday. Sounds like the perfect amount of games to get ready for this postseason run. Here's the beauty too. LeBron got to sit out for 2 weeks in the middle of the season in March to kind of get his body right. Rui's obviously been out for a while. They can be, and they probably will be, more and more strategic depending on the standings, depending on who they're playing and everything else of how they kind of want to, how they want to close out the final 3 weeks of the season. But as we sit here today, they're a game and a half out the number 2 spot. You still got another game. I think they got 2 games. I want to make sure on here. They still got 2 games against Houston. They still got a game against Memphis. They still got a game against the Golden State Warriors. They still got 2 against the Oklahoma City Thunder just to kind of see what the Thunder look like. They're done with Denver, so both teams kind of really didn't show too much of their hands over these last 2 matchups that they had against each other. So with all that in mind, they're positioned really well. And guys, whether they end up, I mean, I'm a firm believer in this. I really do. I think they got to end up in the number 2 or number 3 seed. I'm trying to avoid the Oklahoma City Thunder until the Western Conference Finals. I don't want to play them until the Western Conference Finals. And I'll take my chances against the Denver Nuggets. I'll take my chances against the Warriors. I'll take my chances against Houston and Memphis and the Clippers and Minnesota and all these other teams. I think a lot of these other teams would actually prefer not to play the Lakers if just based on what we've seen so far, how good their defense has been. Luka and LeBron in a 7-game set where they get chances and time not only to rest their body and get right, and there's no back-to-backs, but to also dissect another squad. Is it just me, or does it feel like with Bron coming back potentially tomorrow, or let's say on Monday, Rui coming back potentially tomorrow or maybe on Monday, Lakers are positioned really well for this final stretch of the season. When LeBron initially got hurt, we didn't know how long he was going to be out for. Some people are saying, is he going to come back in the regular season? I thought this guy's probably going to miss 3 weeks. 2 weeks. Looks like right around 2 weeks. Rui eventually comes back. You got all these other players that understand their role. It feels like we can expect a really, really strong closeout to the season. Wherever they land, they land. I hope it's the number 2 or the number 3 spot. I think that would be significant for the Lakers to try to position themselves that way. Obviously, ideally the number 2 spot, so you could start at home for the first 2 rounds. And then, this is probably the best thing of it all is you're not worried about the play-in anymore. So now when the season does end on April 13th on a Sunday, you get Monday off, Tuesday off, Wednesday off, Thursday off, Friday off. And I believe they'll get Saturday off too, because I think they're going to want to put Lakers prime time on a Sunday, probably at a 12:30 game. You got a chance to get 6 days off before your postseason run starts. And that's with Bron already missing 2 weeks in March. So that's kind of when I saw that they're hopeful Bron and Rui come back tomorrow, I kind of took a quick step back. Not about tomorrow's game, not about Monday's game, not about this 4-game road trip, but X amount of games that the Lakers have before the regular season ends. What will the goals be? What will it look like? You go back to your original starting lineup. You go back to guys that were starting because you needed them to start to come off the bench. Any tweaks you got to make in the final 12, 13 games, figure it out. Something's not working, do this, do that. They'll probably slowly ease Rui back in because he's missed 9, 10 games or whatever the case is. I think the Lakers are positioned well here for this final stretch. All right, let's take a look at some of your comments here, get everybody's thoughts, and then we'll continue rolling here. 53 wins still the target. How many wins they got right now? 43. 13 games left, 10-3. I don't think they're getting to 53. I'll tell you why. Listen, I might be wrong here. I think a lot of it's going to depend. Guys, they got matchups. I mean, it's not like these games are – let me actually check this. I check maybe every 1 or 2 weeks what the strength of schedule is. So right now, the Lakers still have the 3rd toughest schedule in the NBA. 2 against OKC. Well, where's OKC going to be by the time the final week of the season comes? Are they still fighting for the best record in the NBA? I know Cleveland's on a little bit of a losing streak here. They've lost 3 in a row. OKC is fighting for the best record in the NBA. And I think they think, by the way, if Cleveland doesn't lose 3 games in a row, OKC wouldn't have a shot at this, but this is kind of the reality of it. If OKC thinks we can have home court in the NBA Finals if they get there, then they're going to be playing those, games against the Lakers. They're probably going to be playing all the way to the end. 53 wins still the target, 10-3. I'll take a 9-4. 9-4 the rest of the way. We'll see. I mean, here's the reality. Lakers went 20-4 and were beating every team that you could think of, and the record didn't matter. So, BC, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. The Western Conference is so deep. No question about it. All right, let's see what else we got here. When it's in the cards, it all falls in perfectly. Lakers in 5. Okay. Yep. This is one about the game yesterday. Nobody really paying attention to it. I get that. I understand that. Let me try to find a couple more comments here. Arrested Bron is dangerous. 2 weeks, guys. 2 weeks in March. You got 2 weeks in March. I mean, sometimes I know when the injury happened, I think a lot of people were saying, hey, this could be a blessing in disguise. But I think the bigger question is, well, okay, blessing in disguise. How long is he out for? If he's out for 3 weeks or he's out for a month, I don't know. I don't know if that's a blessing in disguise. 2 weeks? No, that sounds like that's going to work in LeBron's favor and the Lakers' favor. Lakers and Denver are fighting to fall to the 4th seed. No, I think what you want in a perfect world, you want Denver and OKC going at it in the second round. That's what you want. Because, whatever we want to say about Denver, and I've said this before, I'm not that impressed with Denver. And maybe I don't think they're just cruising in the regular season. I think there is some real injuries to Nikola Jokic and the Jamal Murray, so I think that's a real thing. But as I sit here, don't you want those 2 squads fighting against each other and the Lakers getting somebody else? Whoever that is, right? If it's Houston or it's Memphis or it's maybe the Clippers upset in the first round, whatever it is. Don't you want those 2 squads kind of fighting against each other before they get to the NBA or before the Lakers would have to face them? Let those 2 go at it. Let those 2 have a fight there. All right. Yep. Record depends 100% on when LeBron comes back. Well, could be coming back tomorrow. We'll see. OKC is a great young team, but they don't have enough playoff scars. Let me tell you guys something. until they get to the NBA Finals, that's going to be the conversation. And it's not their fault. They've done everything right. But a lot of times in the NBA, it's why people are going to pick Boston over Cleveland. That's just how it works. It comes with the territory until you actually get there. That's why people give more credit to Denver than they probably deserve because they won a championship a couple years ago. People are still holding on to that. So that's why, some of these conversations go the way they do. And, of course, they got Nikola Jokic, the best player in the world. All right, I want to keep moving on here with some of our topics. If you guys have yet to subscribe to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. All right, Lakers didn't play anybody yesterday. We know that, right? All right, I'm going to play something for you guys here. And I want to find it at the right time. Byron Scott does a podcast. Good podcast, by the way. He does a podcast. He had Magic on as a guest. All right. I'm going to play something for you guys here. This kind of ties into yesterday's game, a couple other things. Let me play this real quick for everybody. And I got one question for everybody out there that I want to ask in regards to the NBA. Take a listen to Magic. Magic's recently on Byron Scott's podcast, briefly discussed MJ's opinion in regards to today's NBA limit. Okay, take a listen.
Even for me, I love the NBA.
That's number one. And number two, how do we get it back?
Even for me, I love the NBA game. But then I turn on to a game, right? And then the stars are not playing because of load management. Mm-hmm. It's hurting the game. And I was with Michael Jordan, not last summer before last. We ran into each other in Europe. And he says, Urban, I don't know why these guys, because if you look at his record, he almost played every game like 5 or 6 times throughout his career. He didn't miss one game. Yeah, he played in every game. We wanted to play in every game. Yeah. Pat Riley or our trainer, Gary Beatty, had to make sure that they said, no. B, don't put on your uniform. Don't come sitting on that bench because you would want to play because you want to play for your guys and with your guys. Mm-hmm. He made me wear a T-shirt.
You wouldn't let him put his uniform on when he couldn't play in the game because he know he would tear the damn jerseys off and go in the game.
Did you guys hear that right there? Let me. If you didn't catch that right there, back in the day, they wouldn't let guys like Magic in a game that he knew he wasn't going to play. They wouldn't actually let him dress up under his warmups. They wouldn't let him have his jersey on. They wouldn't let him have his shorts on because they were worried if it's a close game, late game, they're trying to get a W, incredibly competitive, want their squad to win, that they're just going to override what the coach says and say, or the trainer and say, nah, I'm going in the game. So they were telling him, no, you can't put your jersey on. You can't this, you can't that. I mean, talk about wildly different than what it is today. And by the way, I'm not even demolishing the players today. I think there's a lot that goes into this. Keep listening.
So he was like, no. You can put the sweats on, but you gonna have a shirt.
Yep.
And no trunks and all that because we don't want you ripping them off going in the game. Because that's what he would do.
Because if I thought we were gonna lose, shoot, I'm getting in there. And so
I'm gonna stop it here for a quick second. So this is a conversation that he was having with Jordan, and I was looking into this. It kind of actually, I'll let it finish here. It gets to a certain point, and then I'll stop it when he starts talking about the All-Star game.
It's a difference now, right? And fans see it, and fans are reacting to low management. They don't get to see their stars. One game I tuned into just a couple of weeks ago. Both stars were out on both teams. That made the game ragged. See, so they have got to do something about this low management. And then they've got to do something with this All-Star weekend.
All-Star weekend, I'm not gonna worry too much about. Again, that's on Byron Scott's podcast. The All-Star weekend, I think, is blown out of proportion of how bad that one is. But it's the All-Star game. It's one weekend, so I don't really care. I will tell you guys, it's pretty funny that I play something to Magic, and all I see is Mike Muscala and Ivica Zubats in the chat. Guys, Magic's known for more than just making the Zubats and Muscala trade, but I get it. I understand that. All right, let me say this here real quick on what I just read, and this is a question, or what you guys just listened to. This is a question I'm going to throw out to everybody here that's on the chat. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Is load management the biggest issue you think for the NBA? If I said to everybody here, what frustrates you the most about the NBA, what would your response be? What frustrates you the most about the league? What would your response be? Is it load management? Is it replays? Is it stoppage of play? Is it the refereeing? Is it I don't know. Whatever it is that bothers you the most about the league, tell me. Because when I hear someone like Magic saying this is the part that he thinks is wrong with the game most, and he used Michael Jordan as an example, right? I went and I looked back. Let me look at, guys, and I know it's not the same. We don't live in the same world. So whatever was happening 30 years ago, you know what else was going on 30 years ago or 40 years ago when Magic was playing? Homes were also $100,000 in SoCal, right? Okay, things change. It's not the same. Gas used to cost this much. Go to the grocery store, it used to cost this much. Whatever the case is, the world ain't the same, and I understand that. The league isn't the same. The power from a player's perspective is not the same. There's much more power today. So there's a lot that comes into this. But just to give you an idea, and this is kind of crazy to me at least. Look at these stats here. This is Michael Jordan, because he said he was having the conversation with Michael Jordan about this. This is Jordan, okay? Here's Jordan's stats every single year. This is games played. 82. Obviously an injury in 85, 86. 82. 82. 81. 82. 82. 80. 78. 78 feels like he played 30 games. All right. This is when I think he came back 17. 82, 82, 82. Then he had obviously a couple years in Washington, 60 and 82. Dudes weren't taking games off. They weren't taking games off. And I got to tell you something. For those that want to quickly just, by the way, that's crazy. You know, when he first said it, I'm like, okay, well, what was he playing? 82, 82, 82, 80, 78. It's like, oh my God, he missed 4 games. I will say this. For a lot of those people out there, and I'm going to start looking at the comments of, you know, what people think or what their biggest frustration is with the league. But the one thing that I will say is I don't think this is just on the players. I don't. I think there are a lot of front offices that also say, let's hold out our guy. I think there's a lot of agents that get involved and say, no, let's pump the brakes here. You got a contract that's coming up. I want you to be a little more strategic with this. I think there's a lot more in play than just, you know, one person or one player saying, I don't want to play. So, but with that in mind, it affects the game and it does affect the ratings. And if you just look at the last 2 nights of watching Lakers basketball, these are all the players that were not involved. Injuries are injuries. I'm not telling anybody if you're injured that you should be playing, but just let me give you an idea. Last 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday, if you were looking at the calendar and you're saying to yourself, oh, man, that's going to be a fun back-to-back. You got Nikola Jokic. No, you don't. You got Jamal Murray. No, you don't. You got LeBron. No, you don't. You got Luka. No, you don't. You got Dame. No, you don't. You got Austin Reeves. No, you don't. It's 6 guys right there I named off. Not in every game, but, you know, obviously you guys know what I'm talking about. Stars weren't playing. And it clearly has been a headache for the NBA. And I don't know what their solution is. I don't know if they're going to have a solution, but I do want to see. What people will say is their biggest frustration. All right, let's look at a couple of these here. Kawhi is the ambassador of load management, but look, this is where I have a little bit of issue here. Kawhi has had major knee issues. You think Kawhi in the playoffs wants to shut it down because his knee is swelling? He doesn't. I think they're just trying to, okay, hey, how can we figure this out? How can we manage this? Will he be ready for the playoffs? And then even by the time you get to the playoffs, Kawhi hasn't been available. This year he's been available. Give him credit for that. I think John Stockton missed 20 games his entire career. I don't know what the number is, but I wouldn't be surprised at all. Load management, the back-to-backs. There was a good podcast on Bill Simmons' podcast. And they were talking about basically how to fix the NBA. And they had kind of some wild ideas out there. But one of the first things that I think he mentioned, Bill Simmons, was go from 82 games down to 69. And I think that number was you play within your division X amount of games. And then, of course, you play one on the every other team in the Eastern Conference. You play twice, or if you're on the East, you play the Western Conference twice. He had kind of a reason why it got to 69 was the total. And then it was taken away back-to-backs. And then there was an idea and a concept. Why are you starting your season in October and going toe-to-toe against baseball in the World Series, the NFL, full slate? You're almost a couple of months in, or you're a couple of months in, and we know how the NFL just dominates. And then you also got college football that's taken a lot of eyeballs as well, and that sport's only growing with their new playoff format and everything else, and these conferences all kind of aligning here. They're only becoming more and more powerful. So they had a lot of kind of different ideas there. They were talking about starting the season in December, go through the summer. NBA Finals would be in late July rather than, June. But one of the ideas was minimizing the amount of games. Okay, if they minimize the amount of games, are they now all of a sudden all the players going to play in all the games? I don't have an answer for you. I don't. Okay, these are frustrations from fans of the NBA, what they don't like. Refereeing and back-to-backs. The back-to-back. So here's some people that don't like the back-to-backs. Too many threes. I think it's three-pointers. This one's got a list here. Load management, threes, and free throws. Load management is some soccer They do it all the time. All right, let's keep going here. Some people are not a fan of Adam Silver. Let's see what else we got here. See if I understand this right. No jersey for Magic. LeBron drinks wine courtside. Okay, I see what you're saying. Magic's not putting on the jersey because if he puts on the jersey, he's going to go in. Bron is chilling, having some wine. Day off. What are you going to do? He's got a day off. But listen, Bron is not a good example. Bron is the worst example that we can use because LeBron plays. LeBron is in his 22nd year in the NBA. You better be talking about other stars, not LeBron. You can't go at LeBron. There's other people that you should be looking at. I got to be honest with you. This might be my biggest frustration in the NBA. Of everything out there, Aaron, I think you and I align. My biggest frustration is, and I've used this as an example, imagine being at a movie theater. There's 10 minutes left in the movie, and you're getting to the pinnacle, the best part of the movie, and then all of a sudden, they turn on the lights, and it's like, hey, sorry, guys, sorry to stop the movie here. We just want to do a quick walkthrough and just kind of clean up a little bit here. We want to just get a little bit of a head start here before the movie ends. You're like, what the F are you talking about? Okay. Then they put the movie back on. 6 minutes left in the movie. They turn the lights back on. Hey, guys, just want to give you guys a heads up. Emergency exit is over there. If anything happens or goes down, you can go there. And by the way, 50% off popcorn the rest of the movie if you guys want to go get some popcorn. You're looking at the people working at the theater saying, what the hell? Stop distracting my movie. How many times is the game of the NBA distracted or it's stopped? That to me is one of my biggest frustrations. I don't care about the reviews. For me, get the reviews out of there. Here's reviews. Somebody else out saying that. Jonathan says load management, referees, cookie cutter game plans. Sliwa, long referee reviews, back-to-backs, media blackouts. Oh my God. Yesterday, can I bitch about something here real quick? Why is it so tough to watch sports now? Why is it so tough? I go to this. Okay, I got to go to TNT to download the app. I got it on there, blacked out. I want to go watch this, blacked out regionally. You got to go get the league pass. You get the league pass, and it's like, yeah, but certain games you can't have. And I'm like, what the F am I? Can I just watch the game? I got every network getting a piece of the pie from me, and I still can't watch the game. Yeah, that part's frustrating too. Style of play, refs ruin the game. But you got to understand something too about the refs. Those are mandates from the league. if the league tells the refs, hey, let these guys play, stop blowing your whistle, you know what's going to happen? The refs are going to stop blowing their whistle. So the style of play is not a referee problem. That's a mandate from the league. The league will say, hey, no more hand checking and, let these guys kind of run more freely. Or the league is going to say, stop blowing your whistle. It's killing the flow of the game. Let these guys play. And then the referees will follow. Referees don't dictate this. Jordan was just built different. You're right. He was built different. All right. A lot of good comments here. I appreciate it. This is actually a lot of really, really good stuff here and people's thoughts on it. Streaming in general is that way. Oh, my God. I can't. When I see something says the game is blacked out, I'm like, I'm going to hallucinate. What's not blacked out? Tell me. I have the league pass. You know how many times I try to use the league pass and I can't even get the game that I'm watching? Well, you can't do it because of the region and this and that. I'm like, can I just watch the game, please? All right, let me get John. Thank you for being a member, brother. I appreciate you. Big Sneed coming in. Get Big Sneed with a 20 spot here. Thank you, Big Sneed. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that very much. As we sit here on this Friday, I appreciate that. Great analysis as usual. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Okay. Sling TV and NordVPN, the workaround for blackouts. Ray, look at Ray coming in right there. That's what I'm talking about, Ray. Yeah, how do we get around all this? How do we get around all this? Guys, work with me here. Slee, bourbon this weekend. I don't know yet. It's a good question. I'm not sure yet. Keep you posted on that. All right, let's I want to keep going on some of these topics here. I still got a lot of topics to get into, and then I promised and asked Lee, and if I don't do it again, then people are going to yell at me. So let's keep rolling here. You could keep the comments coming in as you guys want, and we'll keep rolling with part of the conversation. But I appreciate you guys getting into that one. I was curious to see what you guys think. And Big Sneed, thank you again for the 20 spot there. Really appreciate that. Okay, I got a topic here that people were already upset with before the show started. That's good, by the way. I don't mind that. But let me kind of explain to you my analysis. I put some honey in my tea today. Because, I continue to not have coffee. By the way, you know how people say, if you just don't have something for a couple of weeks, you'll forget about it and your body is adjusted. Yeah, my body isn't adjusted. It still wants coffee. Like whatever. Yeah, if you just give up sugar, a couple of weeks later, you're good. No, I still would like my coffee. That part hasn't changed. But I did lop some honey in the tea today. Okay, nice little touch there. Had to make some adjustments here. I'm like a head coach coming out of the second half, right? Down 7, saw what the other team was doing. Now I got to make my adjustments. Throw some honey in that bad boy. Okay, let's keep going here. The Bronny James experience. Bronny had a good game yesterday. Bronny had a really nice game yesterday. Give Bronny James some credit here. Look at his exact stats here. I want to see, I think 17, but I think 7 of 10 from the field. But I just want to look at here, so I got it here in front of me. Bronny last night plays 30 minutes for the Lakers. 17 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, had 4 turnovers, got demolished on the plus minus, but is what it is. Lakers were going to get killed yesterday anyways, so it really didn't matter. Bronny had a nice night last night. Here's my question to Laker fans out there, or really NBA fans, whatever it is. My question has more to do with kind of get some highlights here in the background. My question has more to do with when the season started, or before the season started, and we knew Bronny was going to be a Laker, and there was some conversation that the Lakers are going to use their second round pick, and what if another team kind of jumps in and uses Bronny or uses it to go get Bronny? There was actually some conversation that the Boston Celtics were actually really considering using Bronny. Potentially, there was real chatter that they may go draft Bronny. Okay, with all that in mind, put all that to the side here for a quick second. Let me give you guys what I thought coming into Bronny James' career as a Laker. I thought it was going to be a distraction. I really did. I thought it was. I'm like, is this what we're doing? The conversation is going to be about Bronny, the second-round pick, LeBron's son. Like, are we Lakers trying to win a championship, or are we just accommodating to what LeBron wants in his 22nd year in the NBA? I don't know how much I like this. I don't know how much I like it. That's how I felt at the time. And I did think that it was almost like, all right, this is taking away from what the big goal should be from the Lakers, which should be competing for a championship. Okay, then the season started. And there were a lot of chance of Bronny to come in games, whether it was at Crypto or was on the road. And some of those games that I'm talking about, I mean, I think you guys will remember this. This was kind of early on in the season where Lakers were in a terrible streak, I guess you can call it. But there were games where they were getting blown out. I'm trying to think of the games. Denver. Remember they went through this stretch. They lost by 27 against – no, they lost by 25 against Denver, 27 against Phoenix. They lost by 40-plus against Miami, 41. Then they lost again against Minnesota by 10. And then things, Lakers started cleaning up some stuff, and it all kind of started changing. Not that it's been a perfect season or anything like that, but been a pretty damn good season. And the crowd would start chanting Bronny's name when Lakers were getting their ass kicked down 20 on the road. I'm like, this isn't good. I mean, they're cheering for the Lakers to play Bronny James, and they're happy about it because their squad's up 20. All right. Dust starts to settle. Lakers start to play well. Bronny's doing his thing. He's in South Bay. He comes up a little bit. But for the most part, he's not really getting minutes. If he is getting minutes, it's the end of a game, and hopefully it's a Lakers W. Had some really good games in the G League. He's playing well. I mean, there was some there. South Bay Lakers, there's a gal that works over at Spectrum Sportsnet, Nikki K. Really good reporter. And I remember one time I'm scrolling through my feed, and I see her interviewing Bronny, and Bronny had dropped 30-plus or whatever he had in the G League, and I'm like, oh, damn. All right, that's good. And he had impressive numbers in the G League, and he's kind of getting opportunities, and that's the proper development for Bronny James. Let's fast forward all the way to yesterday where he plays 30 minutes. There was only one game that Bronny got playing time that I disagreed with. It was that loss against Philly. He came in, I think, in the first quarter or something like that. I'm like, why are they playing Bronny in the first quarter? Let's fast forward to yesterday. Bronny has his 17 points. And they interview him after the game, and he does his thing, 7 of 10 from the field, and then that was it. If you've ever listened to Bronny with a mic in front of him, sounds very, very calm, cool, and collected, down to earth, humble, not somebody that's, yeah, that's my dad. Yeah, I run this place, not like that at all. As we sit here today, I really don't think he's been a distraction. Maybe some moments this season, but it has nothing to do with him. He didn't do anything to be a distraction. He just happens to be LeBron's son. But as we sit here today, I have not had moments where I'm like, I can't believe this is going on. I can't believe that he's on the team. Why would they allow this? This, that. Haven't really had that. And I still think he's getting his proper development, which is exactly how he should be getting his proper development. Go play in the G League, do your thing down there, take your time. You only played 1 year at USC. You had obviously the issue with your heart. Naturally, you're going to need time to be the player that you want to be. You're super young. You're in the league. Guys are probably targeting you and saying, I'm going to go after him because that's LeBron's son. Hasn't been a distraction. He really hasn't. I mean, if I'm just being honest and real about this, I really haven't had any issue with that portion of the Lakers season. If they were losing and the team was struggling again, and maybe they never traded for Luka, and you still have AD on this team, and they're fighting for a play-in tournament, and crowds chanting Bronny, they want to see him, and the Lakers are getting their asses kicked, every other night, that's a different story. That didn't happen. So I think that whatever I thought coming into the season to where we sit today, I don't think he's been a distraction at all. And like I said, even if he is a distraction, it's not anything he's done. It's just the predicament of the situation. All right, let's take a look here at some of the comments. Let's see what people got to say. James became irrelevant the moment they traded for Luka. No, he's not irrelevant. Let's be honest with ourselves here. He's not irrelevant. Not irrelevant. I think maybe what you could say is now you see what the future is, and you know Luka's. This isn't one of those situations where, hey, AD, you want to take the keys or do you not want to take the keys? AD wants to on a road trip. He's driving. You're driving 300 miles somewhere. AD's in the car. He's like, hey, I'll drive the first 100 miles, but then I want to chill in the passenger seat. Luka is, I'm driving all 300 miles. I'm driving. From start to finish, this is my car. And he's got to be nice, and LeBron's got to be nice, but they know they can work together and whatever the case is. From that perspective, I get what you're trying to say of whatever the juice was that LeBron has, he still has all that juice. But it is different now because the face of the franchise is here. There is no question of who's going to be the face of the franchise moving forward. We already know who it's going to be. It's going to be Luka. He's already a Los Angeles Laker. He's already got jerseys that are selling. He's already dropping 30 or getting triple doubles or winning on the road in Denver. He's already here. So from that perspective, it's a little bit different. Bronny is a good kid. Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. And by the way, I'm never questioning whether the guy is a good kid or not. And by the way, whether he is or he isn't, that's not what he's getting paid for to go do his job. He's getting paid to obviously be a basketball player, but I think he does have that. I think he does have a little bit of that. Bronny, a big morale boost. If you see Bronny playing, meaning the media makes it a distraction. Most of us fans don't care. I think the fans do care. And let me tell you why I think they care. Because when you're at a Laker game, and whether you guys have been there or not this year, Lakers are up 15 in the fourth quarter. They're chanting Bronny's name. They want Bronny to come in. They're not chanting Alex Lynn. They're not chanting Shake Milton. They're chanting Bronny. So I think there is something that comes with it. All right, let's get some more in here. A lot of people, it looks like a lot of people got a lot of positive stuff to say here. The real fans want to see Bronny do well. Bronny was better than Jalen Hood-Schifino. Damn, I forgot about Jalen Hood-Schifino. I really did. Did Luke Walton deserve his career, or did his dad have a little something to do with it? I don't know if Luke is the best. By the way, listen, nobody needs to justify anything. Here's just the reality of the situation. There are a lot of assistant coaches, coaches in the NBA, people that work in the front office where their dad or their mom or whatever the case is are owners or they're high up. It happens in every business, every industry. So, the reality is nobody needs to justify it, but Bronny was put in a, tough predicament, tough situation. What's he going to make of it? I think he's kind of held his own and has not been a distraction at all. All right. I think he didn't play a full year in college, in part due to his medical issue he thankfully recovered from. 100%. Okay. I appreciate you guys chiming in on that one. Got to keep moving here. All right. I got a question for everybody. And I'm going to try to figure this one out with you guys. Let me get this at the time that I want it at. Okay. And I got to ask you guys a question here. When the trade went down, AD for Luka. All right, I'm going to read you guys a couple quotes, and I want to see if you guys are catching something that I caught when I was watching this podcast. Okay, let me share my screen here real quick. A lot of sharing of the screen today. A lot of sharing. I'm very giving today. Yahoo Sports, they're doing a podcast. Marcus Morris is on the podcast. Marcus Morris Sr. is on the podcast. And he's walking everybody through what happened and when Markieff got traded. They were actually on the phone together. He got a text. Markieff got a text, I think from Nico or the GM or somebody over in Dallas, basically saying, hey, you got traded. So let me play this here for a quick second. But all right, let me see if I could get this at the right time. Take a quick listen here. I want you guys to take a listen to this. We'll walk through this together.
You know, to feel better, to go into a new place where, and the Lakers, right? He's like, hell yeah. I'm like, what the, can I curse?
Yeah,
I'm curse. Like, what the?
Talking about when they first got the idea of the trade that just went down.
How is Luka Doncic traded? Like, does that even make sense? So now, when he said the Lakers, I said, you going to the Lakers, right? He's like, hell yeah, I'm going to Lakers. And I'm thinking to myself, bro, you know, you might just have won another championship. Like, literally, you really might just have won a championship. And the part about it that I think...
So this is Marcus Morris talking to Markieff Morris. And Markieff was saying that he might retire depending on what team just traded for him and keep going.
A lot of people don't see is that Keith and Luka has a really good relationship. Like, a really good relationship. So I think that they probably noticed that and they wanted, you know what I mean, Luka to feel, you know, to feel better, to go into a new place where you have somebody that's, you know, that's been a teammate. Also, Dorian Finney-Smith, he's been a teammate of him. And then Max Kleber, you know, he's been injured, so no one really talking about him. I think.
Okay, I'm setting all this up because take a listen to Marcus Morris. By the way, I don't think it matters, but did Marcus Morris just say that LeBron James knew that the trade was happening? Take a listen.
The dynamic of that really helped, and also Keith played there. So the Lakers really wanted him to come. Brian asked for him to come. So it was like the dynamic once I sat and back.
Bron asked for him to come. Am I understanding this right? I'm going to read you guys a quick quote when the trade went down. Trade went down, okay? Here's LeBron's quote. I thought it was a hoax, people messing around, whatever. But when AD called me, AD FaceTimed me, and I talked to him for quite a while. Even when I got off the phone with him, it still didn't seem real. It didn't seem real until I saw Luka today, and I saw a clip of AD at the Dallas shoot-around. So basically, I think what he was saying was he had no idea that the trade was going down. He said he was out with his family to dinner and got the news. And the first time I heard it, it was for sure fake. So this is what LeBron was saying. I'm going to go back real quick. Did he say LeBron knew, asked for Markieff?
Because really wanted him to come. Brian asked for him to come. So it was like the dynamic once I sat and back and thought about it, I was like, it actually might help your career now. It might give you a brush.
I'm going to stop right there. Am I reading too much into this? By the way, listen, it doesn't matter. But I know a lot of what was being reported was Bron had no idea. LeBron had no idea that that trade had gone down. He had no idea that that was, obviously what was happening. He had no idea that Anthony Davis was going to get traded. But did Marcus Morris just say that LeBron wanted Markieff? Well, the only way, listen, the details that came out for that trade immediately when Shams had put it out, the details came pretty fast of, okay, hey, Markieff is included, Maxi Kleber is included, Max Christie's included, this is the pick that's included, and then, of course, you got AD and you got Luka. Did he know? Listen, if you told me he knew, I'm not surprised or shocked. I'm not surprised or shocked at all. But did he just say what I think he wasn't supposed to say? Because it was LeBron and AD that were FaceTiming after. I had no idea. I thought it was a hoax. I thought all this. Let's take a look at some of these comments here. Bron asked for him to come. That's what I just heard too. That's what I thought I just heard too. I had to go back and play that. It's kind of funny. That clip, again, that was from Yahoo Sports. That clip, I'm looking at the comments. This is yesterday is when I saw the clip. I'm looking at the comments. And I'm looking at the bottom. And everybody they're like, did I hear what I thought I heard? And it had it highlighted 420. 420 is when he said that. And And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at it. I'm like, wait, did he just say what I thought he said? I go back, I listen to it again. I'm like, did he just say, wait. Then I'm like, did LeBron ever say that he knew, or did LeBron say he didn't know? Look, I'm not telling you big deal or not a big deal, but it feels like to me, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if a day before that trade went down, the front office gives LeBron a call and said, listen, here's the situation. And they're not asking, they're telling him, we're about to trade Anthony Davis. And, whether you like it or you don't, Luka's going to be a Los Angeles Laker. And I'm sure for LeBron, he's probably like, I get to play with Luka. I think there's a little bit of that. But I feel like he had to have known. James told AD he knew nothing about the trade. That's cold. He's got business to take care of. All right, let's see a couple more of these here. You know what I think more than anything else? I just want people to either tell me I'm crazy or they feel the same way I am, that I think Marcus Morris just said LeBron knew about the trade. Basically, it almost sounded like, well, LeBron obviously had to sign off on this. Not literally, but you guys know what I'm talking about. All right, let's see some of these. I think without how much control Bron has, that it would be unlikely that he didn't know anything. I agree. Markieff was going to retire and just bought a house. He could have retired instead of going to LA. Right. I heard that whole part as well, which is why he ended up saying, hey, I'm going to play. That's why Marcus Morris started saying, you might get yourself another NBA championship. So that's why LeBron went off to New York. He was happy Luka was coming after the game. So it was AD that didn't play in that game. Bron played in the Knicks game, right? Yeah, I think he did. No, he did play. All right, rumor out there. LeBron knew about a possible Luka trade a whole year before. Who knows? Again, I'm not this one. Bron knows all. Look, I actually disagree with this one. I don't take too much stock in what Keefe says, respectfully. But why would he BS? Like, there is no incentive or reason for him to BS. I think more so with how casual that conversation was. He was giving all of those details out. I think that's what makes it more and more authentic. Again, the world's not going to change either way, but the narrative was he had no idea. I got a difficult time believing that. I never really paid too much attention to it. I just kind of was like, well, it was such a no-brainer anyways. It didn't matter what LeBron thought. If LeBron hypothetically, if the front office called LeBron and said, hey, got to tell you something, we're trading your boy. And LeBron did everything possible to say, no, you can't do that. Give us another shot, this, that, whatever the case is. I'm pretty sure Jeannie in the front office would have said, Bron, we appreciate your time. Even if Bron was threatening that, hey, by the time this year done, that player option that I have, I'm not going to sign that player option. They would have said, we greatly appreciate your 7 years with the Los Angeles Lakers. We got our guy for the next 10 years, an international superstar that's got a chance to take the Lakers back to where they would like to be on a consistent basis moving forward, which is competing for championships. So I don't think it would have mattered, but that one tells me that there's these comments are hilarious. La GM's fingerprints in the crime scene. That's pretty funny. AD was complaining too much. I don't buy that narrative at all. I don't think AD was complaining. I think AD was trying to win an NBA championship and compete for one, and was telling the franchise, we are at our best if I'm playing the 4. And I also got a blueprint of what it looked like back in 2020 of how they got there. So I just thought that was a pretty interesting story there. Slee, he could have been referring to what happened after the trade was announced when LeBron asked Markieff to come instead of retiring. Maybe that's an angle there. That's not how I interpreted it, but maybe there's an angle there. All right, a couple more of these comments, and then we're going to keep things moving. In LeBron, I trust. Yeah, to be honest with you, Why wouldn't you? It doesn't work every time, but I'm pretty sure LeBron's got a pretty damn good track record. All right, so everybody's got kind of their opinions, their thoughts here, and we'll keep things rolling here. I think LeBron could have talked Keefe into not retiring instead to come. Okay. LeBron now is still better than Luka. That's a good thing, Jonathan. If that's the case, that's a good thing. You want that. That's okay. What you want is both of these guys right now to be at their absolute best. Luka's only going to get better. Bron, you can't get any better than you can't get better in your 22nd season. It's going to have to be a decline there. Okay. Good stuff right there. I appreciate all the comments and the thoughts on this topic here. All right. A couple other things left to do, and then we are going to we're going to call it sort of a day. I'm going to do some stuff for members here after the show as well. So a couple things here I want to just kind of throw at everybody. All right, let me get this all set up. Real quick here before we start the weekend preview, and then I got a couple NBA things that I want to get into. Shout out to Brad Wallace and the Wallace firm. Shout out to him hosting me on Wednesday, for being there in the office. Really, really great to spend some time with him. His firm, he's a proud partner. Hopefully you guys got a little bit of a chance to kind of get to meet him and see who he is. And sometimes, I could sit here and obviously be doing these reads, but spent about 15, 20 minutes. He was on the podcast on Wednesday. Hopefully you guys got a chance to just see who he is, the type of personality that he has. I hope you guys never need him, but life does happen. And I've said this before. We created a URL, wallacewins.com/Sliwa, wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Get a free consultation if any of this applies to you. If you or someone you know was in a serious injury, you should reach out to Brad Wallace. Let him walk you or your family through your legal options. I'm sure it's a very intimidating and daunting process. Let an expert in the field help you. He can help anybody in the state of California. I've said this before. There are so many. This is an industry. It's a cluttered space. I mean, you go drive around Southern California. There's billboards everywhere. There's ads everywhere. There's this, there's that. I'll just tell you this. Really good dude. Runs a very professional practice. Very down to earth, definitely does not have the stigma of what that industry is. And like I said, if I could make a personal introduction because you're in a predicament or a situation, I'm happy to do so. If you or someone you know has been seriously injured or is dealing with a loss of a loved one, you should find out what legal options you have. You need the best in the business, and it's Brad Wallace and the Wallace firm. He knows the sports too. Guy, let's just say he understands the sports. wallacewins.com/Sliwa. wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Okay. We got the weekend preview now that we'll start with here. Let me just kind of set everybody up. If you got an Ask Slee that you want to get in here, then throw them in. Ask Slee, you could ask any questions you want. Whatever it is that you guys would like to throw out there, throw my way, feel free to do it. I'm going to get into the weekend preview, talk about some things that are going on over the weekend, and then we'll do a little bit of Ask Slee. So we'll kind of keep this thing rolling here. All right, let's get a couple of these in here. Celtics sell for $6.1 billion. Damn. Celtics sell for $6.1 billion. It is the price would surpass $6.05 billion, led by Josh Harris, who paid to buy the NFL's Washington Commanders. We know Magic Johnson's a part of that. So it's the most paid for a franchise in North American sports history. And it will easily surpass the record number for the control stake of an NBA team, which was set 2 years ago when Matt Ishbia bought the Phoenix Suns for $4 billion. You know what's funny? Do you guys remember when Steve Ballmer bought the Clippers? And I want to get the right numbers here. He bought the Clippers. And I think there was bidding like around $1.6 billion. By the way, this was in 2014. We're talking 10 years ago. We're not talking that long ago. Okay. And I think there was bidding like up to $1.6 billion. And he's like, cool. Why don't I just go ahead and pay $2 billion? Let's just round out the number. We'll call it a day. And they're like, sure, sounds good. And then Steve Ballmer, who's worth over $100 billion, probably just walked into, New York or the headquarters in Secaucus, wherever that is, I think in Jersey, and probably just came in with just a couple duffel bags. And he's like, here's the cash. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to go pay $400 million for the Great Western Forum, that arena there. So then he could build his Intuit Dome, everything else that he ended up doing. That investment was 10 years ago. He paid $2 billion. Celtics just sold for $6 billion. My God. Can you imagine what the Lakers would be on an open market? I know Boston. That's a very, 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 very prestigious franchise. Nobody's like the Lakers. Nobody. If the Los Angeles Lakers went up for sale at any point, can you imagine what that bidding war would be? To own the Lakers. All right, let's keep going here. Got a couple other stories I want to get into. If you got some athletes, throw them in, and I'll get to them. Curry goes down with an injury yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw that. Pelvic contusion, but I don't know if he's going to – I think he'll be all right because Steve Kerr was asked after the game. He thought he might be able to come back. We just decided not to risk anything, so hopefully it's not bad. So those that were holding their breath yesterday when Curry got injured, looks like he'll be okay. Last thing I want to get into before just highlighting a couple games this weekend, Paul Skenes, his 2024 Topps Chrome Update MLB debut patch autograph card sold for $1.11 million yesterday. How about this? Paul Skenes is going to make $875,000 this upcoming season. That's his base salary, but his card sold for $1.11 million. It's the most expensive non-Mike Trout baseball card. A one-of-one Trout rookie card sold for $3.1 million in August 2020. That's the most expensive sports card of all time. I like how they're trying to make it, Paul Skenes card. I love that they're titling it as it's the most expensive non-Mike Trout baseball card. Why don't you just say it's second most expensive? Mike Trout sold for 3 times, almost 4 times what the Paul Skenes card sold for. This is the most expensive car after that car. Yeah, well, why don't you just say it's the second most expensive car? This is the most expensive home in the neighborhood, except for the house across the street that sold for 4 times as much. So it's the second most expensive. Just say it's the second most expensive. All right, that's the Paul Skenes card that went. I saw this was kind of pretty funny. When that card went out and they found out who it was that won, it was a kid that got it in his deck of cards. Here's what the Pirates offered trying to get that card. 30 years of season tickets. I don't know if there's any value there. A meet and greet with Paul Skenes. That's kind of cool. 2 signed jerseys and a number of private PNC Park and spring training tours and experiences in exchange for the card. Livy Dunn, that's his girlfriend. She also offered to host whoever pulled the card for a Pirates game in her suite. Seth Meyers, host of Late Night with Seth Meyers, also offered a VIP experience just to see the card. All right, sounds like that was a big deal. Couple quick previews here, and then we'll get to Esley. NBA games this weekend. Couple to watch. I only really looked at 2 games. Lakers got the Bulls tomorrow. Clippers host the Grizzlies tonight. So Grizzlies can potentially take another L there. We'll see what happens. Clippers kind of quietly playing some good ball. And then Nuggets are at the Rockets on Sunday. It's a good game too. The Rockets have become quietly, how many have they won in a row? It's at least 8. They have quietly became, and I know they went through a tough streak there. Fred VanVleet was out, and now, he's been back. They're 45-25. They've won 8 games in a row, 8 of their last 10, and they're in the number 2 spot. So give Houston a lot of credit here. I mean, they're also kind of balling out, and nobody's really talking about them at all. All right, final thing I'm going to mention here, NCAA games, a lot of games going on tonight. I don't know anything about any of these college teams. Nothing. Even the school that I went to, the city that I represent, San Diego, there's, I'll watch some of those games. I'm not watching every San Diego State game. I'm just not. Yesterday I was watching UCSD, Michigan, close game. UCSD almost pulled it off. That would have been awesome. All the other games tonight, this is what's fun about the brackets, which I did not fill out a bracket. That's 2 years in a row. I don't have any idea who the hell is playing, nor do I have any idea of who's going to win the game. But, catch a little bit of fever, watch some of these games. Weekend preview, of course, is presented by the Wallace firm. Need legal help for a serious injury? The Wallace firm are proven trial lawyers. Go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa to learn more. wallacewins.com/Sliwa to learn more. Thank you for their partnership. All right. Let's get some ass sleeves in here, and then we're going to call it a weekend. And then I'm going to do something just for members. Members, like I said, on Fridays, we're going to start doing just a weekly member show to kind of talk about what we liked during the week, some ideas. We'll brainstorm together. I want people who are members to have more skin in the game. All right, let's take a look here if we got anything. Dub T, Astley. What's your secret to maintaining your top-tier physique? Great question. While mainly working a desk job these days. First off, you put sweaters on so nobody could actually see what everything looks like. I'm going to start wearing turtlenecks too. You know what I've been doing? Literally the only thing I've been doing. I'm doing some running. So today, at some point, we'll crank out a quick little 4-mile run. Then I'll eat like crap, and then it will kind of defeat the whole purpose. Slee, when working at the rec, how many kids did you beat one-on-one? Brandon, that's a great question. Kennedy Rec Center, El Cajon. Right there on Madison. Is that Madison? I think it's Madison. I was in San Diego about a week ago, and I went for a jog, and I jogged right by Kennedy Rec Center. I'm like, should I go in there right now? Go handle some 11-year-olds out there? I never really played them one-on-one. I got to be honest with you. I loved coaching. I really, really did. Coaching was so much fun, especially kids like that have no idea what the hell is going on. But it was, it was fun. Definitely fun. So first job I ever had. 16 is when I started at Kennedy Rec. All right, let's see what else we got here. Read some more of these here. I don't own a turtleneck. I can't breathe. I don't know how people wear turtlenecks. All right, let's see what else we have here. Carnivore diet will do that is real life. What is carnivore diet? Is that just literally you're just eating meat? Just protein? I know you cut out all the carbs and everything else, but can you do fruits and vegetables and stuff like that? Or is it literally you're just eating meat? All right, you guys can tell me that. Slee, did you have coffee yet? No, not yet. Slee, just hit a game-winning 3. What is your celebration? It's a good question. Okay, let me tell you guys something. I'm at the game. It's actually kind of funny that you asked this question because a thought came to my mind a couple games ago. I'm at the game Lakers and Denver. And where I was sitting, it's behind one of the baskets. They have a media space there. And I'm in the third row. I'm in the third row back, third or fourth row, whatever it was. In front of me, they got the Spectrum crew that was sitting there. So Chris McGee was there, Geeter was there, and Robert Horry was there. So they had done some work from the arena earlier. And there was one point Robert Horry was walking over there. And it kind of flashed in my head real quick. When Robert Horry hit the 3 against the Sacramento Kings, when Vlade tips the ball out, Kobe missed a shot, Shaq missed a shot. It was, critical game. Lakers lose a series if Horry doesn't hit the shot. And it gets tapped back. And Horry takes the 3 in rhythm. Do you guys remember Ori's celebration? Do you remember he put both of his hands behind his back and he just looked around and he was like, do you know who the F I am? This is what I do. I hit game winners. I hit game winners. I don't know why I think that's one of the coldest celebrations is the person that has no facial expression, right? Dame hit that three. What he hit it against OKC over Paul George and just looks around and they all kind of tackle him and his facial expression doesn't change. You know what that means? That means this is what I do. I'm not going to be hitting a game-winning three in the upcoming future, in the near future. But that celebration, that's a cold-blooded celebration. I'm a fan of that celebration. Let's get another Ashley here. Good question, by the way. Ashley, how many NBA stadiums have you been to? Which is your favorite? All right, let me think here off the top of my head. I've been to OKC. I've been to Cleveland. I've been to Boston. I've been to New York. I've been to Sacramento. If you want to count the Clippers, I count the Lakers. I've been to the old arena, the Golden State Warriors. I haven't been to their new one. I've been to Denver. So I think 9 arenas. I don't think I've been to any other. Phoenix. Yep, I've been to the Suns arena. So there's 10 right there. My favorite one, damn, there's something about that Madison Square Garden was cool. MSG was cool. That was cool to be there. And I've been to, I think, 2 games at the Madison Square Garden. Maybe one. I actually can't even remember. You know which game I went to when I went to I think it's 1 at the Madison Square Garden. You know which game I went to? I went to the game was Lakers-Knicks where Linsanity was just starting. It was just starting. And Jeremy Lin went off on the Lakers. Kobe was still there and everything else. But Madison Square Garden, that's cool. Denver's pretty cool too because they got a great home court advantage. They got a good vibe there. And that was a playoff game, so all right, let's see what else we got here. All right, somebody was saying carnivore. Some people do carnivore for a few months as a way to reset the body, slowly weaving back in fruits and veggies. Damn, that cannot be easy. Interested in visiting San Diego one day. What are some spots that I should check? Both touristy and underrated spots. Okay, I'm going to give you areas you should go to in San Diego. And you can't really go wrong because I think areas is a better way to put it. A lot of people say, hey, go to downtown San Diego. I would tell you, no, go to Little Italy. Little Italy in San Diego is a phenomenal area of SD. It's near the water. It's clean. It's a great place to go walking. Restaurants everywhere, bars everywhere. It's a beautiful pocket of San Diego. I would say go to Little Italy. Go to Coronado. Coronado over the bridge. You're literally on an island. You can go rent out those bikes, get an e-bike so you burn -7 calories. You literally burn nothing. It's the greatest invention ever, or the worst invention. Go to Coronado. Go tour Coronado. It's beautiful. You want to go, I would say, kind of an underrated area of San Diego, go to Chula Vista. Chula Vista is as San Diego rooted as can be. Great restaurants, great bars, Mexican food. You can't get any better. You're literally 7 or you're like 10 minutes from the border. That's another great area to go into. So that gives you a couple of areas. And then all of North County, it's just ridiculous. I mean, La Jolla, Del Mar, Solana Beach, Encinitas. I mean, that's just, it's almost fake. It's not even real. Hopefully that helps a little bit. Favorite nickname someone's called you? You know, it was Big Al for a while. Big Al. Yeah, like in high school, there was a lot of Big Als. In college, Big Al. Slee just kind of happened afterwards. That's a good question there. Slee flexing on those middle schoolers. 11-year-old, I'll post you up all day. And if we're playing one-on-one, there isn't 3 in the key. You know what I mean? let's see what else we got here. So you talk about your Tokyo Dome experience. So I mentioned this a couple days ago. First off, anybody who's never been to Japan, make Japan, put that on your list. Japan is incredible. Japan is incredible. And I wasn't just in Japan. I was in, been to Hiroshima, been to Osaka, been obviously to Tokyo. Or I'm sorry, I wasn't just in Tokyo. I was in different parts of Japan as well. Osaka, Hiroshima, Tokyo. Where else did I go? I forget off the top of my head. I know I went to some other places as well. That country is amazing. That country is literally amazing. All right, let me look here. Talk about the Tokyo Dome experience. I'll just tell you this: just go to Japan and go enjoy everything. And if you could catch a game at the Tokyo Dome, it's as clean as an experience as you're going to have as well. I was bitching and complaining in one of the post-game shows recently that people don't pick up their trash. Not in Japan. Not in Japan. I mean, they're freaking picking up everything. It was an incredible experience. The only problem is nobody scored. I was there for 12 innings and nobody scored. San Diego definitely has the best Mexican food. Lolitas, Cerritas. Those are two that I would tell you. Lolitas and Cerritas that are really, really good spots. All right, let's see what else we got here. Everybody, this is kind of cool. Everybody kind of giving suggestions, helping each other out here. Good people here. Do you take the train to LA? Sometimes, not all the time. Not all the time. But I like the train. I like taking the train. Kick back, get some work done. It's good. All right, let's get a couple more in here, and then we'll go to one. We'll go till 9:30, and then I'm going to come off of here, and then we're going to do a little members only type of stuff. Let's see what else we got here. The train in Japan is immaculate. They just do it differently. People are so respectful. Everyone been to Japan but me. No, you're good. Nah, you can keep the Clippers. We'll just take the Chargers back. That dipshit Dean. Turtleneck sleeve pulling up from 3. I can't breathe. I literally can't breathe in any of that stuff. I definitely can't breathe in that stuff. Okay. See if we got a couple more ass sleeves. If we don't, then that's okay. People had a couple suggestions here. Balboa Park, Seaport Village, Coronado, Seaport Village. Balboa Park, phenomenal too. That's a great place. And if you want the best Middle Eastern food, just go to El Cajon. Go to El Cajon here. Let's see what else. Okay, let me promote a couple things here, and then we'll end the show. So I appreciate you guys hanging out for. We'll get to $1.50, and then we'll call it a day. Later tonight, Sammy's going to get a preview video going of Lakers and the Bulls. So we'll get that game all ready to go. By the way, let me just see here. Where is Chicago? I know they're still in the mix, 30-40, and they're in the number 9 spot. Gotta love the NBA. All right, they've been winning some games. Beat Magic, beat Heat, beat Pacers, beat Nets. Lost a close one to the Rockets, beat the Jazz. Lost a close one to the Phoenix Suns, beat the Kings. Maybe we're going to get a little bit better of a game against the Chicago Bulls than I was making it out to be. So keep that one in mind. Keep that one in mind as we kind of go through all this. What could end up happening, and hopefully, obviously this is the hope here. The hope is that LeBron comes back. Even if it's not tomorrow, come back by Monday. Even if Rui doesn't come back tomorrow, come back by Monday. And I think the Lakers will be in a really, really good position moving forward. I really do. For this kind of final stretch run and everything else. I think that's going to be interesting. Okay, as I wrap up the show here, I am going to promote here real quick. a couple things here. This is a good idea here. Can we do a members only show at a brewery? That's a great idea. Somebody had an idea of doing a show during the playoffs somewhere in that Solana Beach area. That's not a bad idea either. So real quick, I'll be back on tomorrow after the Lakers take on the Chicago Bulls. If you're a member, I am going to go live in give me like 15 minutes. Let's call it 9:45. I'm going to go live again for members, and we'll do our first kind of recap show where we talk a little bit about how the week went, what we liked, what we want to see for next week, some ideas to the show, all that stuff. So I'm going to do that for members coming up here pretty soon. And I put in a link here. If you're not a member, you want to become a member, $3 a month, great way to support the channel. I would love for as many members as possible. I know a lot of people have become members. A lot of people have gifted members. 9:45, I'll come back on. I want to first timestamp this show that I did, and then I'll come back and get ready to do it. So whatever we have in there, we'll spend some time with. Thank you, everybody. Solid week. Appreciate you guys hanging out. We've done kind of cranking out a lot of shows because of all the Laker games and then obviously the Monday through Friday stuff. So thank you for being a part of the show. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I will see everybody tomorrow. You know what I didn't read here? I had a couple supers I didn't read here. Only LeBron apologists can rationalize his shady actions and characterize people who point them out as haters. Only LeBron apologists can rationalize his shady actions and characterize people who point them out as haters. John, I think it's safe to say this. And you could throw any comment that you want on here. You're entitled to your own opinion. You don't like Bron. I think that one's safe to say. And it's okay. It happens. There's some people that are like that. I kind of try to separate church and state. I don't pay attention to too much that happens off the court. I acknowledge it, but I try not to let it impact what I'm saying. Another here, super here. AD said people knew. Yeah, AD mentioned that in his quotes when he was talking to Brad Turner, that it's impossible that more people didn't know, but is what it is. Thank you for the supers, everybody. I'll be back on here in just a little bit with all the members, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. See you guys tomorrow if you're not joining the show later.